Hey everybody, it's Stan. Another video here. It's been not too long since the last one, so hopefully I'll keep these coming. I want to do a topic today that people have asked me in different groups. When should amalgams not be removed, or should I remove my amalgams? Okay, try to jump into that real quick. This is just my disclosure information. My blog, if you want to subscribe, get on a mailing list. I don't send a lot of things out, so just up to you. These things I try to cover every video. Just pause the video, read through them. If you don't understand what I'm saying here, you might want to look into this, because it's stuff that a lot of people overlook and forget, particularly MTHFR. A lot of folks try to chelate with that, and they get into a really bad place, forcing stuff out without addressing MTHFR, which is called the detox pathway. Some interesting links I've seen lately: EPA guidelines, FDA's opinion on high-risk groups, and Mercury. All of a sudden now they're saying, yeah, maybe you should get your amalgams out. And most important, the IAOMT site that talks about the safe removal protocol and how to look for a doctor or dentist who can do safe removal. Even with safe removal, people do get exposed. That's how touchy this is. So don't think that just because I went to a safe doctor, it's going to be a breeze. It usually is, but be prepared what to do if you do get a little exposure. And there's a lot of preparation for that, and I think I cover that in some of my other videos. To answer the question, when should you not remove amalgams, whatever. Number one, it's not an easy call, and this is totally not medical advice. The simple answer always is you definitely want to remove the amalgams, look under your crowns, root canals, and do it as soon as possible, and always use the safe IAOMT protocol that I mentioned. That's the simple answer. But, excuse me, a lot of people have asked me, about their parents who are in their 80s and they're having MS or Parkinson's type issues, or many other health issues. They realize mercury is bad. They realize amalgams are bad. They want to help their parents, but then they don't think their parents can handle it or whatever, and whatever. So I think like I say here, it's not an easy answer. And number one is always, true, that it's just not easy to decide. But understand that detox is really not easy, okay? It could take a couple of years. It all depends on how toxic we are. Depends on how many, years we've had amalgams in us. That kind of thing. I had probably 45 years worth of amalgams, and my dump was very, very rough. People with even less years have a very, very hard and rough dump phase. So, can somebody in their 80s deal with that? I'm sure they can deal with it, but it's very, very hard. And if you're going to be dumping for close to a year after removal, and you're in your 80s, you look at your family lifespan and all that kind of stuff, is it really worth it? It's a hard call, very hard call. Just to jump around a little bit, some people can't afford to remove it, so they try to detox with amalgams. That's not, not recommended by many, many people, especially to not chelate with amalgams. In my opinion, I wouldn't chelate at all. There's too much redistribution, and I personally didn't need to do that. I did all natural, and I seem to have done very well. The dump phase I talk about, it lasts up to, say, 9 or 10 months after removal. It follows a specific timeline and graph that I'll show you in a second. Again, do you think your elderly parent or friend or, whatever can handle that? I would just say my mom, when she was 85, would not have wanted to endure the dump. Most younger people, when I say younger people, I've helped people that are in their 40s, maybe late 30s, 40s, go through it. And for them, it was a pretty rough ordeal. So, I was like 55, 56 when I went through it, and it was horrible. Glad I did it, yes, and I feel better now at my age than I did when I was in my 30s. So for me, it was the right thing to do. For most people, it's the right thing to do. But I think if you have underlying conditions and stuff like that, you got to be very careful. Everybody thinks like, oh, I'm detoxing. It's like take a pill, detox. Detox is very unique to each person. It depends all of what's in you and how your body handles it, how well your body can handle it. Some people's bodies are way more compromised than others, and it's harder for them to detox, especially if they have MTHFR. Some people say they don't or didn't dump. And then, so my question always to people is, is the amalgam really all out? Because even a tiny speck left in will stop the natural dumping of mercury. Mercury has a property, so to speak, that if there's any exposure left, it will not allow itself to come out of the body. That's my way of explaining it. And I know people that had just a tiny little piece left somewhere that a dentist finally found. In one case, 3 or 4 dentists said, no, you're good, you got everything out. And then finally the 5th dentist said, oh, wait a minute, I found this here. That person was trying to chelate for years, and they really, really got themselves in a bad spot trying to do chelation when the mercury speck was left in, and it was kind of holding the mercury in the body. So you got to be really, really careful with this stuff. For me, my indication that I got it all out was I did start to dump, just like the chart said. So I was glad that I experienced the dump, because I felt that that was my body saying, I recognize that you took all the mercury out of your body, and now I'm going to safely try to get it out of you best I can. The body's very smart. It'll only do what it knows you can tolerate, so to speak. But some people that are in the dump would say their body was miscalculated a few times, because they really, it can really put you down. I tell people that I was literally on the ground on my hands and knees, just pleading to God or anyone that would listen to stop this from happening. I was in my 9th or 10th month, and it was pretty rough, and I worked through the whole thing too. Another idea, number 7, is, if you can remove some of the amalgam, maybe not all, I would say it should lower the daily toxicity that's being dumped into you or swallowed by you. But keep in mind that the last one removed is what triggers the dump phase. You got to get it all out before the dump will happen. Some people will opt to remove their tooth versus amalgam for cost reasons. I'll give you the picture of the graph here. This is the time after amalgam removal dump chart, and this is how bad you feel right here. So right here at time 0, when you just got your last amalgam out, you feel pretty good. And actually right after that, you feel like kind of normal, like, wow, all my symptoms are sort of gone, and I feel great. This is fantastic. And then somewhere it says here 2 to 4 months. I kind of say 4 to 8 weeks is when my dump started. And as you can see, you have a change in how you're feeling here. Then boom, the dump hits, and your symptoms are getting less and less and less. Then all of a sudden it hits, and now your symptoms start going back up to this crazy peak up here. And that's the very hard part between month 6 and 9, where you really plateau on feeling horrible. And then sometime after 9, for me it was like my 10th month, you start coming down again, back to normal. And then 12, here it says 12 to 24 months, so 1 to 2 years of still like slowly detoxing, having mini dumps after this main dump is done. Will kind of keep happening. Some people have described it different ways. One thing I say to people to keep in mind is after this dump phase happens, now your body's sort of back to normal, and it's trying to detox you normally, like a normal person would normally detox. And exactly how that is for each of us, I couldn't say, but maybe every week or two, your body's saying, okay, I got to get this out of you, so I'm going to dump it out. You have a little bit of a digestive situation or whatever, or in general, every day your body's slowly detoxing. But I think the way we all are, you can have a situation where it sort of builds up and dumps and builds up and dumps, and some people have referred to that as like a mini dump. and it's not as bad as the main dump. It's just more routine. Your body's detoxing because, when you don't have amalgams in you, you're still exposed to tons of stuff, and you still need to detox. So anyway, that's my quick discussion on whether you should or should not get amalgams removed. I think the very basic answer is, of course, get the poison out of anybody, no matter what. But you really got to think about how healthy the person is. What's the gain going to be? Again, it's taken me 5 to 7 years. I feel better now, being 5 to 7 years older, than I did five years ago, and for sure even when I was 20 years younger. I've got more energy and stamina, and I recover better, and all that kind of stuff. So I hope this was helpful. Please like and comment and subscribe. The likes and the comments help the videos get more notice out there. And thank you for listening. And please, share your ideas and your thoughts on all this too, so we can help other people as they learn about all this. All right, thank you.